Hi and welcome to Fish Tank Diaries Series 3. Today we've got Tracey Howes from Tracey Howes Consultancy join us, who's going to talk to us about social media marketing. Tracey, thank you so much for coming along today. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Sam. It's a pleasure to be here.
So Tracey, first of all, can you give us a bit of a background on who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I have had my own marketing consultancy since 2010. I supply marketing strategy and social media services, but specifically focused on strategy and training. So my experience over the last couple of years, I focused specifically on the hospitality sector, and I worked with restaurants, hotels, and bars. Since relocating to Bournemouth in 2018, I work with a mixed portfolio of clients from the property sector, lifestyle, and food brands.
So it sounds like you've got quite a wide range of experience with different businesses. What are the most common issues that you see with social media for companies?
Well, the first thing that is glaringly obvious if you look at a business from the outset is that they could potentially be using the wrong channels. They might have been told that they should be on a specific channel, and if you look at it and you compare it to the business that they just don't correlate. The second thing is that there's no strategy. So it could be that someone has just decided that we need a social media channel and just put the branding on there and got someone to post a few times, and actually it doesn't do any justice to the brand. So lack of strategy. And the third point, I would say that, you don't need a professional to tell you this, but poor quality content. And that could be anything from the language that's used, the imagery, the video, or the fact that they don't use any of that and just use text. So strategy, content, and the correct channels. Those are the three areas that really stand out for me in the beginning.
That's a very concise answer. I know, I like that. Obviously, as you said, areas that most business owners have been advised on before, but as you said, it's doing something about it, putting proper content, proper strategy in place. So what should we be aware of, with regards to our social media during this COVID-19 crisis?
Well, I think the most important thing is to be sensitive to the situation. There's a great way of describing it. It's sort of temperature checking your audience. And the point that I've been making with all my clients is you really need to listen to your community. And when I say listen, I mean getting onto the channels that you are on and actually not posting, reading comments, understanding where your community is at. What do they actually need from you right now? And in any crisis situation, you're always going to go through the initial phase where there's the panic, the fear, the sense of loss, which is almost like a grieving process where emotions run really high. And for businesses, the most important thing is to think about where you are in that process. And it's absolutely fine to step back and stop everything. You don't have to suddenly be in everyone's faces because it would just land on deaf ears. So sensitivity and relevance, absolutely crucial. If you have a customer service team, that's where I would be spending most of my time because they are at the front line dealing with consumer feedback. So whether you have a team or whether you operate individually and you do your own customer service, listening to what the community wants and then deciding what action you're going to take. Do you stop? And then start to look at the process again. If you're coming out of, as we are now, coming out of that initial panic and fear, we're going through a readjustment phase. This is the time to really start thinking critically about what the future looks like. It's very difficult to predict because we can only assume, based on past experience, what it might look like. But you need to have, again, some kind of viewpoint and strategy that you can plug into your business and say, right, we're in this period of adjustment. So now might be the right time based on having listened to our community that we want to engage with them. And some businesses this might be the first time that engagement happens. Whereas other businesses that are really helping people directly, for example, food delivery, you want to be in front of people as soon as possible, giving them as much help as possible. You know, and reach out to your community. Who else is doing things that you could potentially learn from? Get insights from them. You don't have to do this on your own. You know, the whole thing, we're in this together, is absolutely spot on, because we are. So that period of adjustment will then move into a period of reevaluation, thinking about how do you look at your business in a different way? How could that look in the future? And it could just be sitting down with a piece of paper and writing this down and thinking about it that way. Or it could be talking to your team or talking to other people in the community that can give you some inspiration. So the planning for the future, that is where I see us moving into now. You know, grants are coming in. The other thing I would say is, if you are, for example, wanting to advertise on social media, and it's appropriate for your business, it's a great time now, because the ad spend has dropped dramatically, because a lot less businesses are advertising. So you can actually get your business out in the front before others.
Well, I think that's really, really good advice. So to kind of wrap up, I know we've got a very wide audience of people that are watching this sort of content. Could you give 3 sort of like useful points of how to really, excel with your social media platforms as a business owner?
Absolutely. So my top 3 tips for excelling on social media. Number 1, less is more. And this is absolutely vital, because I see so many people trying to be all things to everybody. It's so much better to just pick 1 or 2 channels and learn how to use them properly, and just be amazing at them, rather than have all of them and be a bit average, because then you're wasting your time and your money. Second point is really learn how to use the technology, because each of those channels are very different, and having a good understanding of that, or getting your team trained up in it, will make a massive difference. And also invest in content creation. It's a very competitive market out there. You don't have to spend a lot on high production videos and audio. However, having a copywriter or a graphic designer that you can work with, or learning how to use Canva, for example, it's a free tool for graphic design, can really make your social media 10 times better than it currently is. And the final point is listen to your community, especially during the time that we're in. They will tell you what content they want, but you have to put the time in. And actually, when you see the feedback from people, if they are reading what they want and what they need, that's the best feeling in the world. So yeah, those are my top 3.
Great. Well, I know there's going to be people watching this who fall into the category of either not having the time or not believing they have the ability to do this to the required standard for their company. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, and get your advice or support or help, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, they can email me directly. It's Tracey with an EY at traceymayhouse.com. Or they can DM me on LinkedIn or on Instagram. I'm very active on both, and they're welcome to connect with me.
That's great. Well, I appreciate that. Tracey, thank you so much for your time today. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. Some really valuable stuff that I'm going to go immediately away and start having a look at. And I look forward to catching up with you again in a few weeks' time.
Thank you, Sam. I've really enjoyed our chat today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.